Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff. This is our daily lectionary readings for Friday, May 12th, 2023. We have our three daily readings. Psalm 66, 8 through 20, once again, is going to be our psalm reading. The book of Genesis, chapter 7, verses 1 through 24, is going to be our Old Testament reading. And then the book of Acts 27, 13 through 38, is going to be our New Testament reading. Sounds kind of long, huh? So here we go. It's going to be out of the New American Standard Bible today. And just as an interest, that is what I went through for my first college was I used the NASB all the time. Psalm 66, 8 through 20. Bless our God, you peoples, and sound his praise abroad, who keeps us in life and does not allow our feet to slip. For you have put us to the test, God. You have refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net. You laid an oppressive burden upon us. You made men ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water. Yet you brought us out into a place of abundance. I shall come into your house with burnt offerings. I shall pay you my vows, which my lips uttered, and my mouth spoke when I was in distress. I shall offer to you burnt offerings of fat animals, with the smoke of rams. I shall make an offering of bulls with male goats. Come and hear, all who fear God, and I will tell of what he has done for my soul. I cried to him with my mouth, and he exalted with my tongue. If I regard wickedness in my heart, the Lord will not hear. But God has heard. He has given attention to the sound of my prayer. Blessed be God, who has not turned away from my prayer, nor his favor from me. Genesis chapter 7 is our Old Testament reading. Then the Lord said to Noah, Enter the ark, you and all your household, for you alone I have seen to be righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 pairs of every clean animal, a male and his female, and 2 of the animals that are not clean, a male and his female. Also of the birds of the sky, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe out the face of the land every living thing that I had made. So Noah acted in accordance with everything that the Lord commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters came upon the earth. Then Noah and his son, his wife, and his sons' wives with him entered the ark because of the waters of the flood, of clean animals and animals that are not clean, and birds and everything that crawl on the ground. They all went into the ark to Noah by 2, male and female, as God commanded Noah. Now it came about after the 7 days that the waters of the flood came upon the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month. On that day, all the fountains of the great deep burst open, and the floodgates of the sky were opened. The rain fell upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On this very same day, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wives, and the wife, and the 3 wives of his son with him, entered the ark. They and every animal according to its kind, and all livestock according to their kind, and every crawling thing that crawls on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, all sorts of birds. So they went into the ark to Noah by 2s, of all flesh in which there was breath of life. Those that entered, male and female of all flesh, entered as God had commanded him, and the Lord closed the door behind him. Then the flood came upon the earth for 40 days, and the water increased and lifted up the ark, so that it rose above the earth. The water prevailed and increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. And the water prevailed more and more upon the earth, so that all the high mountains, everywhere under the heavens, was covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits higher, and the mountains were covered. So all creatures that moved on the earth perished, birds, livestock, animal, and every swarming thing that swarms upon the earth, and all of mankind, of all that was on the dry land, and all whose nostrils was the breath of spirit of life, died. So he wiped out every living thing that was upon the face of the land, from mankind to animals, to crawling things, and the birds in the sky. And they were wiped out from the earth, and Noah was left, together with those that were with him in the ark. The water prevailed upon the earth for 150 days. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of Acts, chapter 27, verses 13 through 38. When a moderate south wind came up, thinking that they had attained their purpose, they weighed anchor and began sailing along Crete, closer to shore. But before very long, a long, violent wind, called Euraquilo, rushed down from the land. And when the ship was caught in it, and could not head up into the wind, we gave up and let ourselves be driven by the wind. Running under the shelter of a small island called Cauda, we were able to get the ship's boat under control, only with difficulty. After they had hoisted it up, they used supporting cables and ungirding the ship, and fearing that they might run aground the shallows of Syrtis, they let down the sea anchor and let themselves be driven along in this way. The next day, as we were being violently tossed by the storm, they began to jettison the cargo, and on the third day they threw the ship's tackle overboard with their own hands. Since neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and no small storm was assailing us, then from all hope of us being saved was slowly abandoned. When many had lost their appetites, Paul then stood among them and said, "Men, you should have followed my advice and not have set sail from Crete, and thereby spared yourselves the damage and the loss. And yet, now I urge you to keep your courage, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. For this very night, an angel of the God to whom I belong, whom I also serve, came to me, saying, 'Do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand before Caesar. And behold, God has graciously granted you all the things and all those who are sailing with you. Therefore, keep your courage, men, for I believe God that it will turn out exactly as I have been told. But we must run aground on a certain island.' But when the 14th night came, as we were being driven about the Adriatic Sea, about midnight the sailors began to suspect that they were approaching some land. And they took soundings, and found it to be 20 fathoms. And a little further on that, they took another sounding, and it found to be 15 fathoms. Fearing that we might run again aground somewhere on the rocks, they cast 4 anchors from the stern, and prayed for daybreak. But as the sailors were trying to escape from the ship, and had let down the ship's boat into the sea, on the pretense that they were going to lay out anchors from the bow, Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, 'Unless these men remain on the ship, you yourselves cannot be saved.' Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the ship's boat and let it fall away, until the day was about to dawn. Paul kept encouraging them all to take some food, saying, "Today is the 14th day that you have been constantly watching and going without eating, having taken in nothing. Therefore, I encourage you to take some food, for this is for your survival. For not a hair from my head of any of you will perish." Having said this, he took bread, gave thanks to God in the presence of them all, and he broke it and began to eat. All of them were encouraged, and they themselves also took food. We were 276 people on the ship in all. When they had eaten enough, they began lightening the ship by throwing the wheat out into the sea. And here ends our readings for the day.